Dear students, in the previous video we talked about different kinds of animal tissues. So today we will pick them one by one. So first that we are going to read is about the epithelial tissue. This epithelial, as in the previous video I told you, all the tissues that are present on the surface of the body parts, and these are studied under different names as squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium, and this stratified is for all these. So the next kind may be stratified squamous epithelium, stratified cuboidal, stratified columnar. Stratified means they are in different layers, one above the other. As you have seen, your birthday cake is having the different layers of cream, then dough, then sugar, then chocolate, different layers. In the soil also you see different layers. So similarly, stratified means when these different kinds of epithelial tissues they are present in different layers. Here you can see one layer of fingers, this below is another layer, one may be there, another may be there, this way different layers, then we call them stratified. Now what is this name squamous? The first kind is squamous, Squamous. Squamous. Squamous is taken from the word squama. This is squama. Squama means this opened. You may have seen the snake. This rainy season, snakes are out these days. Sometimes you may notice or come across the poisonous snakes, right? We are very afraid of snakes because most of them are so poisonous, right? And their attack may be fatal to human beings, right? So squama, why squama? Why the name of this tissue? What is the relation of this tissue with this snake? The relation is this, that when you see the body surface of snake, you see a pattern, a design on their body, right? This way you can see different type of designs on their body, and this pattern, as you see this pattern or this design on the body surface of snake is similar to the pattern of arrangement of cells in this squamous epithelium. Here you see this way the cells are arranged in the squamous epithelium, right? So this shape looks similar to the body surface structure of the squama, the snake. This gives an appearance of the body surface, right, of snake. So based on or to recognize this arrangement, this kind of tissues are named as squamous epithelial tissues, right? Then second comes cuboidal. Here cuboid shape. Cells are shaped like a cuboid, right? This is cube. A cuboid is having little better length. So the cells are arranged like this. So this way, like the bricks, they are arranged. That's why the name cuboidal. In columnar type of epithelial tissues, this height is more as compared to the this type of cells, cuboid like cells, where the height is more as compared to the width and length. So this type of cells combine and they make cuboidal. They make columnar. And sometimes you see on some of these tissues hair like structures appear or hairs appear. Inside your nose you can see hairs are there. You can see hair on my ear surface. Can you see this hair? So this hair is present on this tissue, right? See, so this when hairs grow on this, then the same cuboidal or columnar generally you will not see, but cuboidal epithelial tissues then called the ciliated epithelium, right? And sometimes one layer, then one more layer, then one more layer. When they are present in different layers one above the other, then we call them stratified epithelium. This is as regards their structure. So squamous epithelium is because of the arrangement of cells like the similar to the design on the body of a serpent or snake, squama, right? Cuboidal is because of cube. The cells are shaped like cube, right? Columnar when the height is more as compared to the width and length. Then ciliated means the epithelial tissues which have the cilia or hairs developing on their surface. This is regarding the structure, right? Now what is their function? The main function is, first very important function of this epithelial tissue is packing. The second is protection. The packing and protection. Different body parts are packed into this. As you see, you have the biscuits packed in the biscuit packet, right? So is it packing for that, right? And protection. And if the biscuit is packed inside the packet, nobody can easily take it out unless and until the packet is torn. Similarly, you see our nose is packed with this skin. This skin is made up of what kind of tissue? If I say the skin is made up of epithelial tissues. What kind of tissues? Our skin is epithelial tissue, right? The surface of lungs, epithelial tissue. The surface of our alimentary canal, epithelial tissue. So their main function is to keep the material or body parts packed in it and protect from. Now the dust or germs cannot enter into the tissues and cells below this skin. So this skin protects our body, full body. Our body surface is protected by the skin. So skin is epithelial tissue, made up of epithelial tissue, and its main function is protect the body parts from the entry of harmful substances, say dust, dirt, and germs. Unless and until there is a cut or wound, no foreign body can enter into a body. You follow? So epithelial tissues, they are made up of they are classified, not made up of, they are classified into four different kinds based on the pattern of arrangement of cells and kind of cells that make them. So first one is squamous epithelium. What I meant squamous, I told squama means the serpent or snake. You have seen the snake? So its body has a particular design pattern, a surface, right? And that design is similar to the design or arrangement of cells in these layers are generally very thin cells, right? So this arrangement is similar to the arrangement. That's why we call it squamous epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissues we can simply compact into a word, that is epithelium. So squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium. Inside the nose, inner lining, you see hairs are there inside the nose. So inside the nose, that inner lining, inner surface of our this nasal cavity is made up of ciliated epithelium, right? If I say where will you find the ciliated epithelium, you can easily show, sir. Ciliated epithelium is present here inside, that makes the inner lining or inner surface of the nasal cavity. Clear? So this is all about the epithelial tissue. And the next kind of tissue that we have to read is in animals is the connective tissue. Connective tissue, as I have told you, it connects, right? So these connective tissues are basically classified as fibrous, skeletal and fluid. What is fibrous? Fibrous means thread, 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 right? Fiber, thread, right? Hair-like structure. So many hair-like structures, like these structures if present and make the tissues, that is called fibrous. So this type of cells are arranged in this pattern that it appears as if they are making a fiber or thread-like structure, right? And in this we have the first kind, that is tendon. The second kind is ligament. Third kind is areolar, and the fourth kind is adipose. Now, what is tendon? Tendon. But before going to tendon, we will start with areolar first. Areolar is, suppose you see, I am drawing a figure here, you should note. So now you are very well familiar why the name fibrous is because the cells are arranged in such a way that they give the appearance of thread. Right? Now I am drawing, suppose this is your, say, leg. Right? This is your leg. Clear? And inside this leg you have the bone. Right? So you see this structure in your thigh, this thigh, leg, upper leg. This is the bone. This is bone. Right? And this one is skin. This skin is made up of what kind of tissues? Epithelial tissue. Epithelial. So in between this skin and bone, what is there? All this is muscle. Right? Though I have separated them. So what happens? Just think, this is epithelial tissue, this is muscular tissue, and this bone is connective tissue. Right? So what is the purpose of connective tissue? Connective tissue connects. Now this skin is connected to the muscle. Here in between the skin and muscle, there exists this one. As if you have to paste two sheets together, you apply gum or Fevicol and then put them together, they are stuck, right? Similarly, this skin is connected with the muscle with a connective tissue, and this connective tissue here, this connective tissue is known as areolar connective tissue, right? Then you come inside, and what you notice, from these muscles and bones, again there is a gap, and this structure here, this one, this connective tissue connects the muscle to the bone, and the name of this connective tissue is tendon. Right? Then comes the ligament. You see, this is upper bone, femur, and this is lower bone. So this upper bone and lower bone, if they are not connected, they will just move freely. They will not be under our control. Do you understand? You see, if they are not connected properly, at times of injury, you can see sometimes these ligaments get ruptured and the body parts, they simply move freely as if they are not connected anywhere with any body part, right? So you see, again the fibrous tissues that connect these bones like this. These fibrous tissues that connect bone to bone, this tissue is called the ligament. Right? So here in the leg, you can easily locate all the three kinds of connective tissues. The areolar connective tissue joins what? Skin to the muscle. Skin to muscles. In your biological way, you can say to epithelial tissues to the muscular tissues. Epithelial tissues to the muscular tissues. Do you understand? So the areolar connective tissue joins the epithelial tissue to the muscle. Then comes the tendon. Tendon, you see, joins muscle to the bone. Here what is the work of joins what? Tendon. Muscle to the bone. Muscles to bones. Right? So tendons join muscles to bone. And what is the function of ligaments? They join bone to bone. This upper thigh bone is connected to the lower thigh bone with fibrous, elastic and very strong and tough tissues known as ligament. So ligaments, what do? They join bone to bone. You must remember their functions also. So next one is remaining. This adipose tissue is remaining, right? Adipose tissue is result of the fat that we consume. The fat, ghee, the different kinds of oils, the nuts that we eat, groundnut, then you have that cashew, all the different food that contain lot of fat and oil, they get deposited in our body in the form of this connective tissue known as adipose tissue. You see, in our body, this is our ribs. Our ribs are like this, and here you see we have the heart, and here we have the lungs, right? In between this heart and lungs, here you have the vacant place because these two are different organs, right? And just feel if they are hanging in your body, and when you will run, they will just collide, right? If while you are running or walking, if they keep hung like this, so while walking, what will happen? They will strike with each other and they may damage each other as regards their shape, structure, size and function. The functioning also will be disturbed, right? You may have seen the electronic gadgets your parents have brought at your house. They are nicely packed in thermocol packings, right? To absorb the different shocks at the time of transportation of these gadgets. Similarly, you see, in our body we have the lungs and heart inside our rib cage. Our body is like a cylindrical structure here at the place of ribs, right? At this place. Inside we have the heart and lungs. So while we walk, they will collide with, they will just disturb each other. So what happens? In between them, a packing of fat exists that doesn't allows them to collide or move freely, right? So this packing is the connection between, say, lungs and heart, right? So not only here, in different body parts, you see, The in our stomach also, you see belly, many people just take a pinch on this in this belly and say, oh, now I am getting fat, right? So this fat get deposited to avoid to absorb the shock between and shock on the different body organs, right, from the outside. And they also facilitate nutrition, they also maintain the body temperature, they carry out different functions, they are responsible for various functions and duties in our body, right? So this last adipose tissue, this is present here. Suppose this is heart, this one is lung. Here you see in between the heart and lung, what you'll see, there will be a deposition of this fat, and this fat is deposited in the form of adipose tissue. Sometimes in examination you may be asked the question, name the tissue that is formed because of fat, so your answer will be adipose. Or you may be asked that adipose is made up of what kind of substance, you can say fat. Clear? So you have the four different kinds of connective tissues. The fibrous connective tissue, in fibrous connective tissues the cells are arranged one above the other, giving an appearance of a thread or fiber like structure. That's why they are called fibrous connective tissue. And the very first is areolar connective tissue. Its duty is to join the skin to the muscles. Then next comes the tendons, they join muscles to the bones, right? And the third kind comes bone to bone joining tissue is known as ligament. And the fourth, adipose tissue just works as packing between the different organs. So this is all about the fibrous connective tissue. Clear? And the next we will talk about the skeletal connective tissue. Skeletal connective tissue. Clear? We'll talk about the skeletal connective tissue. So what is skeletal? As you know, you have already read in your previous classes about the skeletal system, right? So skeletal connective tissue means that makes our skeleton. You know, when a baby is born, how many bones make the body of a baby is 209. But later on when we grow up, the bones fuse together and appear to be one, and afterwards in the body of a grown-up person, in all we have 206 different kinds of big, small, curved, straight, twisted, different kinds of bones make our body. All these bones that make our body, they are arranged at a particular place in our body, and they have a specific function to carry out. All these bones together that exist or are present in our body, they are known as to make the skeletal system, right? They make the skeletal system. So two kinds of connective tissue make our skeletal system. One is cartilage and the other one is bone. Cartilage is having less calcium, and this is an elastic one, though strong but elastic one. As you have seen in some of the fishes, they have, you say it is the spike present in the body, or some people say it is prick present there. Inside their bone, their skeletal is made up of flexible structures, right? These flexible structures, you see, our ear pinna. This ear pinna is, though it is tough, but we can just, if I am bringing my this ear pinna and folding it, I can do it. But if I say from this place, if I want to bend my hand, can I? No. So this, inside this arm there is a structure called bone. This bone is more calciferous, made up of more calcium. So all these structures that make the skeletal system, that make the skeletal system, they are classified as bones and cartilage. What is the major difference between bones and cartilage? Bones, they are very hard, more calcium and phosphorus. They are porous, means liquid can pass through. They are rigid, you cannot bend them. They are stiff, right? But if it's cartilage, you see, no stiff, I can twist this way, left or right. No problem. Is cartilage. But this portion, can you move? This portion is bone. Here you have the bone, but here you have the cartilage. This cartilage, though tough, is strong but elastic. So, whole of our skeletal system is made up of bones and cartilage. Here we have the cartilage. So, what is that? Cartilage is less, is having less calcium as compared to the bones. Cartilage are elastic, though strong and tough, but they are elastic. Elastic means if you deform and leave, it will come to its own position, right? A rubber band you stretch and leave, it comes, it attains its position, its actual situation again, right? Similarly, if I bring my ear like this and leave it here, again it goes back. Elastic. Do you understand? So this skeletal system is made up of two different kinds of tissues, the cartilage and bones. In the examination, you may be asked the differentiate between this cartilage and bone. Next, the connective. Now, what is the relation? Why are they called connective tissue? It's because different body parts are connected with the help of this bone. You see, in the previous figure, I have